Robin Williams is one of my favourite people of all time. Not just one of my favourite actors, one of my favourite humans. He never fails to make me smile. And I first watched Mork and Mindy about 6, 7 years ago, maybe. Expectedly, fell completely in love with it. Both with Mork and Mindy. Pam Dawber is amazing. I have reviewed many of her films on this channel since then. But of course, Mindy McConnell will always be one of my favourites. I actually named, just as a side, one of my characters in one of my books, Pamela McConnell, named after Pam Dawber, Mindy McConnell. The point is, Mork and Mindy is something that I grew to love in no time at all. But this first episode, the pilot, will always be one of my favourite episodes. This was originally released in March 1979, and our introduction to Mork is pretty great. It's pretty basic as well, because Mork, we learn, is from Orc, and he is sent to Earth to learn about Earthlings and their traditions and what it is that we get up to and how we live our lives. So Orson sends him down here in his egg, and quite quickly he meets Mindy McConnell. Now, I will say Mindy's intro is a little bit odd. The way Mindy is introduced, with her being in the car or the 4x4 with quite a sleazy date, is a bit weird. It's not the introduction I would have expected. It's a little less light-hearted, but at the same time, that quickly moves on and she gets to meet Mork. And I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen this, but the outfit that Mork is wearing when she meets it is, the fact that it's not revealed to us straight away what it actually is amazingly hilarious, because we see it just before Mindy does, and it's just brilliant. And then the level of dramatic irony as Mork goes into her house and she thinks he's one thing, obviously not aware of what he really is or who he really is. And then when it dawns on her, or I guess when she begins to realise something's not right, I love Pam Dawber's performance. I just think she's absolutely fantastic throughout, but Mindy in this first episode is just fabulous. I feel like the introduction is very true to who she is and who she remains throughout the rest of the show. I cannot fault this pilot. Not much happens. Definitely not much happens. It's not particularly driven by any kind of juicy narrative. We are getting to know what happens, or what kind of personality Mork is, and it's pretty clear that Mindy is the girl next door who's a little bit naive, but, you know, still growing up, a young woman. I mean, how old would she have been in this? I actually can't remember how old she would have been, but Pam Dawber was born in 1951, so she would have been maybe 27, 28 when it was filmed, so let's say she's in her mid-20s. We also get introduced to Fred McConnell, Mindy's father, and played by Conrad Janis, and Elizabeth Kerr, who plays Cora. Cora is one of my favourite supporting characters in any show. I just think she's fabulous. The way she kind of keeps Fred in check, and, you know, make sure he knows he's overreacting when he's thinking of Mindy's safety. I just love her. I think she's a brilliant, bright spirit in this, and somebody that I cannot fault. Obviously, Henry Winkler is the Fonz. I have to say that, to me, that didn't mean anything. And that is because, and I confess, and I'm ashamed to say this, that I have never seen Happy Days. And yeah, I know that that's pretty awful of me, but, you know, you don't need to have seen Happy Days to watch this. That's an important thing to note. But I'm sure if I watch Happy Days, I'll get more out of this. What I love most about this, it's Mork's mannerisms, and even just think when Mork sits on his face and then he's running through a list of things Mindy has told him not to do, and he's like, don't sit on my face. And Robin Williams is ridiculous. He's absolutely incredible. And the way he brings Mork to life in this, no other actor could play Mork. Yes, his costume makes him look quirky and engaging. I love the rainbow braces and the stripy jumper. I think he looks fantastic. Also, Mindy has the cutest outfits. I love her. But Robin's delivery of Mork's lines, even from this first episode, so astounding. Some seasons, some TV shows take quite a while to get into the style of narrative and for the actors to kind of absorb the characters' personalities. But with Mork, it's like Mork was born from within Robin Williams, which is not true. The character was not written for Robin Williams, but that's certainly what it feels like. If you haven't seen Mork and Mindy, I'm getting a little upset. If you haven't seen Mork and Mindy, please watch it. Robin Williams is, as I said, one of my favourite people ever, and I'm so glad that this show was able to introduce me to Pam Dawber, who I absolutely love. This pilot is a fantastic introduction to the first season, to the characters, to the style of humour and quality of humour we can expect as well. It's weird because Mork kind of overshadows Mindy, but at the same time he doesn't. It's like Mork as a personality is more fascinating than Mindy, but Mindy has a lot of she's the butt of a lot of humour, but she also has a lot of comedy to deliver, and Robin Williams himself never overshadows Pam Dawber, and I think that that's beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic. It'll always be one of my favourite shows. If you haven't seen it, please note that it's emotional if you love Robin Williams. But give it a watch. I promise at no point will you be disappointed.